Welcome back to the Peak Health and Wellness Center in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. My name is Dave Vincent. This is the Race for 8 season number 3, stop 1 at the Plummer Helluva Handball Bash alongside David Fink. We have this third place men's one game match to 25 between Emmett Peixoto and Luis Moreno. A lot of people thought Luis was going to be in the finals here or battling it out against Alan Garner in the semifinals, but that, that might have, taken place, but Luis didn't make it to the finals. Here's third place for him.
Very competitive match last night. Alan winning 11-7 in the tiebreaker. Emmett surprisingly losing a lopsided match to Mondo Ortiz. We think that that's a pretty even matchup, but Mondo just went right through Emmett. So now these guys will be playing for some ranking points and some added cash here in this third place final.
And you heard that call from the referee, 0-0.
What kind of shot is that? But Luis Moreno, Dave, wearing one of many yellow jerseys he's earned. In fact, 7 race events. This is not a yellow jersey match. This is for third place. Emmett Peixoto has not yet won a yellow jersey. Thought this would be a great chance for him, but it didn't materialize.
Point.
Dave, I've noticed Emmett not moving quite as well as we're used to seeing him. I don't know if you have any intel on that, if maybe he's just a little bit worn out.
Well, I don't have any intel on that. I heard that Luis Moreno hurt his arm yesterday diving for a ball.
Good shot there.
And I don't see any effects of that early on yet, but these guys both are taking this serious. This is a 9 o'clock in the morning match. Normally, this would be sleep-in time on day number 3 of a tournament, but both of these guys down here warming up really early. Moreno said he wants this one. They know that there's big point implications here on the race and a chance to get that $20,000 player championship first place trophy. Also, there's a separation in final cash prizes as well out here.
Sloppy return from Luis. These guys have a history, Dave. Emmett actually took Luis under his wing when Luis was about 17 or 18. Had Luis come and stay with him for a week in Watsonville. Just pretty much dominated Luis when Luis was 17 or 18. Luis said the last game they played in 3-wall at Emmett's courts, he hurt his shoulder, couldn't play for 6 months, was off the tour. He came back and he's not lost to Emmett since. In fact, beat Emmett for the first time at the Pro Stop in Dallas, 2009, 11-9 in a tiebreaker. Very controversial call there at the end. Since then, Dave, Emmett has never beat Luis.
Looked like it was short, no call.
Appeal the wait. Hold it. Second serve.
Emmett knew it was short.
It's funny that Luis Cordova said he's peeling the serve right in the middle of the rally.
Point.
And there's a point for Emmett
Four
Peixoto.
serves, 2.
So you would say this is sort of like the instructor and the student. That ball hit Emmett in the head on the way by. Just clipped his hair.
4 serves, 2.
Well, I think in some ways Luis was a protege of Emmett. And unfortunately for Emmett, I think he might have picked up more tricks than the coach. These guys' careers, Dave, have gone in opposite directions since that 2009 win for Luis in the finals. Luis has gone on to win pretty much everything here that the WPH has thrown, with the exception of the U.S. Open and the Nationals. Emmett has not won any big titles. He's now getting himself back in the mix. Finals in Toledo and finals at Las Vegas, now playing here for third place.
You'd have to say that his biggest win was a Players' Championship.
Well, for Luis, absolutely. Players' Championship was combined with the Player of the Year.
Right. But that big one, the big major, the U.S. Open, the U.S. Nationals, hasn't gotten that one. Did do a doubles at the Nationals one year with Sean Lennon.
3 serves, 4.
Also won the doubles at the Worlds.
And he also won another doubles with Andy Nett at the Nationals. So he's won a couple of those. But that singles trophy's eluded him. And you can say the same for Emmett. I mean, he was on a crash course, always constantly in the semifinals or finals of these big tournaments, just hasn't been able to pull the trigger.
You know, it's tough. You get into those late rounds and you run into a guy named Brady or some of these other, you know, really amazing players, and it's hard to get those wins. And Luis has made a lot of errors here early.
5 serves 3. Point.
And there's another one. Luis stretching that left arm.
6
It's
serves
that
3.
elbow that he hyperextended his left elbow. And you can see him babying his swing with his left just a bit. It's a nice paddle kill, Dave. You see how Luis keeps his hand flat and swings parallel with the floor there. A lot of people
3 serves 6.
will cup their hand and lift, and then the ball is not staying down. That's a great pass shot.
And there's another point for Luis Moreno, wearing the yellow jersey from Tucson, Arizona. Emmett from
6.
Watsonville, California.
That was a great serve. Big setup for Emmett. He hits a good punch fist. That's a shot Emmett developed, Dave, when he had the right shoulder problems. He
6 serves 4.
played a lot of fist shots with his right because he was having a lot of pain swinging sidearms. So now he's added that wrinkle to his game, which he never had, and now he's reintroducing his sidearm stroke with his right. And that's a great get from Emmett. Both these guys, Dave, great get artists.
The men's finals will be at 11 o'clock this morning. So we'll have this match, and then it'll be probably an hour delay or so before the finals come on. And at that time, it'll be Dave Fink and Jake Plummer in the broadcast booth.
My question, Dave, is what are we going to do for that hour? Does that mean no work for an hour?
No, there's write-ups,
well, that's already been written. I mean, this write-up has already been written for this match.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
Okay. So that you have a boilerplate template that you're using?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Okay.
4 serves 6.
I call it a drop and plug, drag and plug, right into my boilerplate.
Last night it was Alan Garner defeating Luis Moreno by the score of 21-15. He lost the second game 16-21, but came back in the breaker to win 11-7. So Alan will be in the finals to face Armando Ortiz, who defeated him at Peixoto last night 21-16, 21-11. And that's why you see Emmett and Luis Moreno here. They were both losers last night in the semifinals, now playing off for third place, and we will do that at all race stops this year. Have third place. That's a new addition to this season.
4 serves 6.
For those who follow the points closely, third place wins 6 points. Fourth place wins 5.5.
Second serve.
So that half a point, Dave, could be the difference in seeding at the Players' Championship, and that could be the difference between $19,000, depending on who you play. I mean, say Luis Moreno wins this match and gives him enough points to stay out of Alan Garner's section of the draw at the Players' Championship. Alan Garner gets knocked out maybe by Sean Lenning. Luis doesn't have to face him. Then he has the inside track of the Players' Championship based on his head-to-head with somebody like Sean. So it's just, I think we expect to see both these guys at the Players' Championship, but the seeding will be important. Good shot from Luis. Emmett tracks it down, though. And Luis is just giving Emmett a tour of the court right now, Dave.
This should be a big setup for Emmett. No, it hits a bad bounce. And Luis and Emmett both have a little chuckle. That's about all you can do there. Emmett and Luis making eye contact there, both smiling.
Luis just seems to be playing around right now, Dave. Not really shooting the ball. That more of a pass shot. Now Emmett looks tired. And how could he not be, Dave? I mean, Luis has Emmett on a string the last 3 rallies, side to side. And Emmett, I think, spent a little bit more time on the ground making sure that he'll need the towel. Obviously, Dave, when you lie flat on the ground, that'd be quite a bit of sweat. You know, Dave, what's difficult about these playoffs is that you put so much adrenaline into playing in that main draw, and as soon as you're knocked out of it, it's almost like the air is let out of your tires, and you have to try and come back in and summon that adrenaline and that energy, even though you know you don't have a chance to win the championship. You know, if you're still in the main draw and you're sore, you're playing for that title, and that soreness can dissipate, but the playoffs is a little different story. You have to internally motivate yourself.
Well, these guys certainly don't go into a tournament thinking that they're going to be playing off for third place. And it's just, like you said, it's a big needle inside of a balloon. And they have to go in and somehow summon all that energy or passion that they have actually for the sport, because they really don't want to be in here right now. This is all about, I guess I'd like to just get a game in with somebody I haven't played in a while. That's, I guess, one of the only things you can think of. Maybe a little bit more incentive financially for the win and some more ranking points. I mean, you can dig down and try to justify why you want to play this match, and you know both of these guys don't even want to be on the court, but
serve 6.
It's a tight game, and I'm sure it'll get a little bit more intense.
Well, if you take a look from the outside, that's a great shot from Emmett. There's a lot of reasons to actually want to be in there. One is for the ranking points, for the extra prize money.
6 serve 7.
Also, you're getting experience against a top guy, and something you learn in this match may benefit you if you're to play him down the road, maybe in a final. I mean, maybe Emmett picks something up on Luis here today that will give him an edge if they were to meet up in the main draw.
Over. Hold it.
It's a quick call right there from the referee.
6 serve 7.
I believe Luis is struggling with his left arm right now. I haven't seen him take full swings with his left.
And Emmett just keeps feeding balls to Luis's right hand. Emmett has to know it's hurt, right?
I don't think he does. Luis was icing his arm late last night, well after Emmett left. He said, "Don't tell Emmett." So
7 serve 7.
I don't think Emmett does now.
I like that return right there. Unfortunately for Luis, that ball checks up around that corner.
And Luis is just paddling balls now.
Hold it.
Luis frustrated with the stop of play. That's what Emmett does.
Luis says he wants to take that shot. I don't blame him. Our referee,
7 serve
Luis
7.
Cordova, quick trigger on that hinder call.
Well, the refs in general this weekend have had quick triggers. These are pro players. They can make the adjustment. They already know where the ball's going.
Great re-kill from Emmett. The best ref I've seen this weekend, Dave. Believe it or not, you might chuckle. 80-year-old Fred
8
Chapman.
serve 7.
Complete command of the game.
Short.
There was a play, Dave, in the Cordova net playoff match where
2nd serve.
Cordova dove on top of net, left the ball up, and instead of calling the hinder because the guys were on top of each other, Fred just let the play continue, and net had a setup and went in and took care of it. I think he'd be the only ref I would have seen this weekend that would have allowed that.
7 serves 8.
So maybe the NFL has the right idea, employ only 80-year-old referees and put them in the middle of a field with 300-pound giants running a 4.340 with full gear on, and don't give the referees any
Hold
gear.
it. Over.
Oh, that's tough to call that.
So I guess that's the formula.
7 serves 8.
Oh, that's a nice return from Emmett.
Over.
Oh,
Just so many stops of play here.
too many. You know, Dave, you and I both played Luis
7 serves 8.
in practice. You may play 5 games without one hinder being called.
I can't even recall one, to be honest. And he plays really close. And that's sort of just the style that it is, the Southwest style
8
of
serves
handball.
8.
And yet you come into a tournament, nothing's changed, except you've got 15 hinder calls, amazing shot, within the first 16 points of the match.
9 serves 8.
I'd like to see, Dave, a lot less referee involvement, and basically the ref telling the players, I'm just going to let you do your thing in there.
Well, I think the
8
players,
serves 9.
like in this setting right here, could easily just call their own game.
I believe they should.
I mean, especially when it comes to those hinder calls. I see maybe 2 of those hinders actually being considered hinders from the players themselves.
Yeah.
And the only reason why they're not really complaining is because they don't mind the rest, because they really don't want to be in here.
That was just great shot making from Luis, Dave. Amazing shots. I mean, he's able to come over the top of the ball with a fist, drive the ball with reverse.
We're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for this race stop. This is third place.
Point.
And another one of those balls that Emmett's trying to catch up to in the back corner.
Emmett telling some fans yesterday, Dave, that he never gets tired. And
10 serves
I
8.
think that's just a little bit of gamesmanship. Emmett's always putting himself in a position where he knows things are going to get back to
Scores 11,
his
8.
fellow competitors, and he wants them to think, hey, I'm the fittest guy out here. But in fact, Dave, Emmett does get tired just like anybody else. In fact, I think maybe more tired because he does more running. Emmett has a tendency, Dave, to just keep rallies alive where other guys might go for the re-kill, either make it or miss it. But Emmett is a guy that will extend rallies to 30, 40 shots, and he's doing more running than anyone.
You're watching the WPH Race for 8, season number 3, stop 1, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Stop 2 is going to be at the U.S. Open. You can still enter and play in this tournament, whether that's in the pro divisions or the amateur divisions. They have indoor big ball this year, 4-wall indoor big ball, 4-wall indoor small ball, outdoor 1-wall and 3-wall big ball. And all 3 codes out of the 4 will be broadcast live on our live broadcast. So.
Well, Dave, I focus on the now.
Okay. Well, the
Yeah,
now is the deadline.
You won't even make a plane ticket until after an event's over. Yet all you want to do is talk about the next event when you're at the event.
Yeah, because there's a deadline.
No, there's no but.
Okay, well, there's a deadline, and we want to get people to enter that tournament. It is truly one of the biggest of the year. Nadi Alvarado Classic. I believe this is number 21, 22. He's had the Nadi Alvarado Classic now merged into the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. We are now at 1 minute and 15 seconds, and not really quite sure what this extended timeout is for, as the stopwatch just keeps clicking along.
Emmett changed 1 glove there. Emmett now has used 2 timeouts, Dave, not quite halfway through this 1-game match. He'll have halftime and 1 more timeout should he need it.
Actually put a stopwatch on here. This is one of those games that we evaluate the referees, so we're taking notes.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Right at the 2-minute mark here.
11 serves 8.
Not a good serve there. And Emmett had the whole right lane open. And he punched the ball right in the middle of Luis's yellow jersey.
11 serves 8.
And what kind of shot is that, Dave? That was an easy fly kill for Luis. Instead, he takes a step back and tries to play the ball off the short hop with a fist.
Well, Luis looks like he's really tired here. Or sore.
8 serves 11.
I think it's more sore.
Short. Second serve.
And
Another
another point.
nice sidearm whip on that re-kill. That's the problem with hitting the corner on the return of serve, Dave. It just comes right back to the middle of the court where the server's standing. If you can, you're better off trying to drive the ball straight down the walls. That way you take your opponent out of the front court and also probably force him to give you a setup.
And we're back.
Right out. 11 serves 9.
11 serves 9. Luis back into the box.
This game, oh, what a shot, Dave, from Luis Moreno. That was incredible.
And that was with his bad arm.
This is similar, Dave, to game number 2 yesterday of
12
Emmett
serves
and
9.
Armando. Pretty close in the first half of the game as Emmett was able to kind of hang around, but then Armando just went into 5th gear and left Emmett
13
in the
serves
dust.
9.
We'll see now if Luis Moreno can do the same or if Emmett can stay within striking distance. Not seeing a lot of promising shots or body language from Emmett right now. If you're an Emmett Peixoto fan, and I know you are, Dave.
Well, he's still in the rally, though.
Great paddle kill there. And you see Emmett's legs just looking like they're ready to give out right now, David. That's not a good feeling when it feels like you don't have your legs under you.
This is halftime point. Serves 9. Emmett looks really tired. You're right.
He's just completely gassed.
Halftime, 3
And
minutes.
that's what happens when you play Luis Moreno. You just, like you said before, you just literally feel like you've played a whole tournament after just one practice match.
It's even more than that. It's to the point where you literally can't do anything. You can't get up from the couch to even get yourself a glass of water.
Look at Emmett. He's completely exhausted. Now, I played 9 games of handball against Luis on Tuesday night, and as I was getting off the airplane here in Spokane on a Friday or Thursday, and then waking up the next day, I could not hardly even move. I mean, we're talking 4 days. Now, I've played a lot of handball in the last 3 weeks or so, and you'd think that my body would be conditioned for just a one-night thing with Luis Moreno, but he just, something about the way he keeps the ball in the play and the pace that he puts on the ball, you're constantly feeling like you're catching up to everything and scooping or paddling or just getting it back to the front wall. And then he overhits the return, and you feel like you're in the play, and sometimes you do get a setup and you're able to get back into the server's box, and then you have to serve when you're completely exhausted. He just he takes you out of your game. It's like playing the closest to like squash in a handball court. Constantly driving the ball, constantly keeping the rally going,
And then
never
the worst
giving
part
you up.
about it is that Luis is never tired. I mean, look at him right there, Dave. It looks like he's just relaxing. Doesn't even look like he started playing it. You see Emmett trying to recover during this 3-minute break. He's drinking all of his special vitamin teas and all the potions that Dave, he puts together from his team of experts.
We're in the middle of a 3-minute mandatory timeout. It's a TV timeout brought to you by the Race for 8. And you can see these pro players walking around like they are completely gassed and exhausted here. A lot of handball compressed into 3 days. Dave, you played how many matches this tournament?
I played 4. Emmett's taking a look at the draw. I don't know if he's thinking about, do I need to keep playing this? Maybe he just is ready to call it a day here. I mean, Emmett looks like he's closer to going to the hospital than back into this handball court. I mean, I know Dave, he never gets tired. That's what he's told people, but.
Well, they're slowly getting back onto the court, both of these guys. Going to get their gloves on and get back into the court.
Luis is still trying to get loose and break a sweat.
This is the Race for 8. We're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Back to that discussion about the U.S. Open, though I know you hate to talk about it. The deadline is October 10th, and you can enter the tournament at r2sports.com. The U.S. Open of Handball has divisions literally for everybody. It's the Nadi Alvarado Classic, one of the best tournaments of the year. You can contact us at WPH at racefor8.com. That's race, R-A-C-E, 4, the number 8, EIGHT.com. WPH at racefor8.com will give you information about the U.S. Open. That's our next big event. October 24th through the 27th. The drop-dead deadline is October 10th. The drop-dead deadline.
This will be an important moment here in this match for Emmett. Needs to get himself back in this match. Right now,
9 serves 15.
He's been outscored 6-0 going into halftime. Hasn't shown much signs of life, but we'll see if the 3-minute break will help him. And Luis just continues to push Emmett back, keep him behind him. And it's like you said, Dave, the setups that you do get against Luis, you're too tired to put away.
I think what happens is you try to put him away because you know it's your only opportunity, and you're actually extending yourself because you have to, and that's why I think he wears you down days later when you still feel your legs hurting.
And you see Emmett is not able, that's an amazing shot, but Emmett's not able to make those quick 3 or 4 adjustment steps to get himself in position to swing. his legs
16
and his
serves 9.
body is so tired that he's just basically lunging at balls. And Luis
Point.
now just peppering the ball down the side walls.
17 serves 9.
Playing Luis for so many years, Dave, I always thought that
Point.
he just got lucky getting the ball right on the wall, but talking to him, Dave, he's actually
18 serves 9.
hitting the ball down the walls and putting spin on it to keep it on the walls. So it's intentional, which is, I think, even more annoying than thinking it was lucky. And look at Emmett, just an easy setup for him and can't do anything with it.
For those that have not spent time with Luis Moreno, he's truly just a fun guy to be around.
Yeah,
he has
very
a
interesting.
very different personality, and not in a strange way, just a
19 serves 9.
completely engaged in everything he does. And if you want to talk handball with him, he's got a pretty brilliant mind, and he watches a lot of videos, but he'll tell you about the shots that he's working on,
20
and then
serves
go in
9.
and show you, and it sounds like it's all just part of a myth or some kind of fantasy, and then he goes in the court and shows you what he's working on, and it's all real, Dave.
I called it short.
I thought that serve was good. He served a hop right down the middle of the court.
All right, the only one that saw it disagrees, so first serve again.
Luis appeals the serve, Dave, but then goes ahead and hits the same serve he would have hit for a second serve anyway.
Point.
But Dave, that serve that was called short and then overturned started at Emmett's
21
left hand
serves
and
9.
ended up on his right hand. That's how much hop there was. Dave, I don't know what his wingspan is, but that's got to be about 3 feet of hop. And Dave, it's not as though Emmett has not had success in the playoffs. He's taken 5th place on a couple of different occasions, so he knows what it's like to come
21.
back in after being eliminated and still play top-level handball. Today, though, Luis is just completely wearing out Emmett, and I think, Dave, that Luis has that thing that you talk about with Sean Lenning where he doesn't want to lose to Emmett. He's, grew up, playing Emmett and losing to him. I can remember in 2006,
short,
the pro stop in Concord.
Second serve.
Luis actually stayed with Emmett, and Emmett just basically said, you know what, you got some talent, but you're not there. Beat him 21-10, 21-10, and Luis didn't say anything, but
22
you
serves
can
9.
see that
Right.
it's not something he wanted.
Point.
Now Luis is making everything 23-9. Emmett's playing this one out.
23 serves.
But this is
9.
the highest that Emmett has ever finished at a race for 8 event, Dave.
No. He tied for 3rd twice last year. This will be a 4th place finish, so.
Well, tying for 4th is what it is.
No, 4th.
Match point serves 9.
I call it tied for, it's actually called tied for 3rd.
Okay, well, this is actually a place. He's actually placing.
Well,
that's actually a semifinal.
4th is not as good as tied for 3rd.
Okay.
If you look at the golf prize money, if you tie for 3rd, you get a lot more money than if you got 4th.
Okay.
So I consider it higher.
Okay, I'm glad that's how you consider it.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time we've ever had a placement where you try to see who wins, and instead of being tied, he actually takes 4th place here, which is, before that, 5th was the lowest besides the semifinal appearances. But here, Emmett Peixoto loses to Luis Moreno. The score 25-9. We do have more handball today, and that's going to be about an hour and a half. You might see some, bonus coverage feed stuff that we might throw out here on this live broadcast as we get ready for that 11 o'clock men's finals. But nonetheless, this has been a great tournament. Dave, as we look at the lake back here, and back here right there is Beverly's on the 7th floor.
I just can't believe you swam from here all the way to that building. I mean, what was that, about a half a mile? And you did that this morning before breakfast. 59 degree water. You should have seen me in my leotard, my little Speedo that I wear. Pretty amazing. But nonetheless, what a great tournament. Jake Plummer and his family put on one of the best that we've ever seen. Are you going to go ahead and declare this as your favorite stop so far this year? Well, so far this year, this is the first stop. It is my favorite stop, and with all respect to our other hosts who do such an incredible job, there's just an X factor here at this event that you just can't quite put your finger on. I mean, all the stops have great hospitality for us. All the community is always very welcoming, but there's something about this stop, Dave. It's hard to put your finger on it unless you're actually here. You feel the energy here, and it's so much fun. Luis Cordova told me today that this is definitely his favorite stop. You know,
Right.
so we're not alone. I think most of the players share that same sentiment.
We just watched the third place final where Luis Moreno defeats Emmett Peixoto by the score of 25-9. We have the men's final coming up right around the corner. We want you to stick close for that at 11 o'clock here in the Great Pacific Northwest. We'll have more handball action for Dave Fink, Linda Manning, Jason Rutherford. My name is Dave Vincent. You stick around. More handball here at racefor8.com.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
You like it?
All
They
right.
might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Ahern Rentals is the largest independently owned and operated rental business in the United States. We are proud to maintain outstanding working relationships with over 100 manufacturers, including JLG, Skyjack, Genie, Kubota, Multiquip, Honda, and many more. From coast to coast, Ahern Rentals is here to service your equipment rental needs. For a complete list of locations near you, please visit us at www.ahern.com or call 1-800-400-1610.